Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. When Melvin is trying to calm down his fiancée Bernice after saying the wrong thing, he has to keep track of many details. Did he or did he not invoke the goddess? Did he compliment her latest outfit before or after admitting that it was all his fault? In the thrill of the moment-to-moment living, we have to track many details in any given situation. But 6 weeks from now, Melvin only needs to remember the essentials. 1, that he was wrong, and 2, that despite his personal taste, gluing rhinestones to his t-shirt does not make it acceptable attire for a formal event. Short-term memory is where we keep track of the tiny details we need to finish the task at hand. Modern tasks often involve files on a computer, and if you're like me, you use your desktop for that. You need to download a research report on the market demand for naked mole rats in cosmetic testing labs. Add that PDF file to my desktop. Editing a photo album for the office party? My desktop gets covered with pictures galore, and when I need something, it's somewhere. I was working on it just 5 minutes ago, and it was called 0345.pdf? I have no idea what it was called. So how do we keep track of all those little details when doing a short-term project or sections of a project? Here are 5 easy tips. Tip number 1, use recent documents. Let's say you just finished editing the marching orders for your zombie army, and you suddenly remember you need to add a reminder to procurement to have fresh brains waiting to feed the army. But which file was it again? Was it zombie_stuff.doc? Thankfully, both the Mac and Windows computers have a list of recent documents. Rather than hunting around for wherever I saved the files, I can go straight to my list of recent documents and grab the file I was just working on. In Windows 7, just right-click a program in the taskbar, and you can see a list of recent documents. In earlier versions of Windows, the Start menu had a Recent Documents entry. You can re-enable it in Windows 7 with 7 easy steps, and you can find them at this episode's transcript. That way, your most recent applications are clearly visible directly from your Start menu. On the Mac, the Apple menu has a Recent Items section, which gives you quick access to recent documents. Also, right-clicking on the taskbar gives you recent access to documents on a per-application basis. I also like the application Blast on the Mac. It gives you one-click access to recent documents from the menu bar, but it shows you the document's icon, and it lets you press the space bar to see a quick preview of the file before you reopen it. Tip 1B, your Mac reopens closed files. If you're on a Mac running Lion, when you open an application, you don't even need to remember what you've been working on. The operating system will automatically reopen the files you had open the last time you quit. If you want to quit an application and not reopen Windows the next time you start it, hold down the Option key when you quit the program. If you never want applications to reopen their most recent windows, you can turn off the behavior entirely in Settings, General, and then Restore Windows when closing and reopening apps. Tip number 2, use Default Folder X on the Mac. This is another great Mac program that I love. It's called Default Folder X. It gives you one-click access to recent folders and files right from the File Open and File Save dialogues. Plus, it lets you choose a default folder for each application. Now, Word Processor always opens and saves to my Documents library, while my audio editor opens and saves to my Media directory. I couldn't live without it. And I'll be raffling off free copies of both Blast and Default Folder X. Just visit this episode's transcript by February 14th, 2012 for a link to enter the raffle. Tip number 3, use short-term memory folders. Using my desktop as a bucket for anything related to my current projects produces clutter fast. I can set my desktop to use auto-arrange so it looks neat, but don't be deceived. My naked mole rat files are all mixed in with my zombie brain requisition forms. It's almost impossible to find anything. My solution is to make my desktop mirror the way I think. I turn my attention from one project to another. When thinking about naked mole rats, I want all my naked mole rat resources and only my naked mole rat resources. I create a folder for each project, naked mole rats and zombie food service. When I download or create a file related to a project, I toss it into that project's folder. Now, when my attention shifts to a given project, everything is in one place, even though it's on the desktop. Keep in mind, these are my short-term memory folders. The files I keep are the ones I reference while doing the current phase of the project. Now my desktop is neat. It has one folder for each project, easily accessed. That folder is now the repository for everything needed to resume work on that project. Tip number 4, transfer to long-term storage. The resources you need to finish a project in the short term might come in handy again. Either you'll need them for a future project, or you may want them for reference when you're revisiting this project in the future, whatever. Although today's commodity prices won't be useful for Bernice 6 months from now, she may still want to save them for future reference. When she reviews her vendor selection decisions in 6 months, having the pricing information will help her remember her decision-making frame of mind. Once you finish a project, don't leave the short-term memory folders on your desktop. Go through the files and file the ones you want to keep in your archived file system. Bernice archives by project. She just drops her desktop manufacturing logistics folder into a folder named Archived Projects, and she's done. Someone else might save the titanium prices file in a folder of commodity prices and the delivery schedule file into a folder of past delivery schedules. The key, as I've mentioned in my earlier episode on efficient filing, is to file according to how you'll think when you need to retrieve the information. To sum up, use your computer to help out your short-term memory without creating tons of clutter. Use Blast, Default Folder X, or the Recent Documents and Recent Applications menu of your computer so you don't have to search for recent files. Create project folders on your desktop to hold reference material, and transfer that material to your long-term storage when you wrap up each phase of a project. For links to my previous episode on filing, plus raffles for Blast and Default Folder X, visit this episode's transcript at getitdone.quickanddirtytips.com. This is Steve Robbins. I help people build extraordinary lives by understanding the external forces that keep them where they are and designing ways to re-architect their commitments so they can pursue what really matters. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.